turning rough edges into something that heals.
Welcome back to Concrete and Glitter. I am your host, Benay Pink, and with me is Nick. Nick, I actually think this might be my favorite conversation we are about to have.
That's because this episode is basically about women.
As it should be.
You planned this.
Obviously. Genuinely, I think queer people are raised by a lot of women. Yeah, men too, but women.
Some biological, some emotional, some fictional.
Exactly. And some wearing pink and singing into rhinestone microphones.
And honestly, that explains a lot.
I mean, okay, but let's start. Who are the women who raised you emotionally?
Oh wow.
No hesitation, names.
Yeah, no, I would have to say, like, honestly, strong woman, loud woman, women who took up space unapologetically.
That tracks.
Woman like my mother, you know? She's someone who took charge of, she runs a preschool, she's someone who took charge of, like, her business and just went for it. She's someone who stands on stage, has a presence, has a voice, you know? So, yeah. And so many other people come to mind. My aunts, my teachers, so many women. So many women in my life were strong, loud, and unapologetic. And I must say, I think that is why I'm also not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid to say what I want to say because of those women in my life. I think growing up queer in a small town, you notice women differently because a lot of them are like surviving systems too. Everybody's just following this narrative, and these women are like fighting to get through it as well, and that is inspirational.
That's actually very, very true.
And those are the women who influenced me as well.
And then pop culture also becomes this weird lifeline because suddenly you're seeing women reinventing themselves publicly, refusing shame, refusing silence. Miley Cyrus? Absolutely, Miley Cyrus. Beyonce? Honestly, architectural. Okay, but seriously, why do you think queer people connect so well with female performers? Because they embody transformation, and queer people, we understand transformation instinctively. That's beautiful. And also, femininity is powerful, even though society spends a lot of time pretending that it isn't. Why do you think people fear femininity so much? Because femininity is emotionally intelligent. It nurtures, it creates, it connects. And systems built on dominance usually fear softness because softness exposes vulnerability. And vulnerability threatens control. Exactly. And I also think femininity survives everything. Wars, politics, oppression. Women make it through it all. The femininity thrives and women still continue raising children through it all. And that's why I think femininity is one of the strongest forces in the world. I mean, it takes a village. Nick, tell me about your mom. My mother taught me love through consistency. She's honestly such an amazing woman with so much love. The way she cares not only about her kids, but about other people's kids. She's a phenomenal woman, and she embodies that unconditional love that you require from a parent. And you know, mothers often shape the emotional language of a home, even when they don't realize it. She sounds amazing. What do you think she gave you emotionally? She showed me care, she showed me warmth, she showed me softness, and I must say my dad too. But she definitely showed me that softness is not something
that you are meant to apologize for. That is powerful. And especially for boys who grow up in environments where masculinity can become very rigid.
I also want to talk about the queer use of the word mother. 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 You know, I want to talk about it.
Yes, mother.
Because outside queer people don't always understand it.
You know, I think queer people create family different sometimes. Because historically, many queer people had to build their own support systems outside of traditional structures.
Chosen family.
Exactly. So in queer culture, mothers become those people who are your mentors, your guardian angels, you know, like the people who guide you through life, who support you no matter what.
Like the people who say, you are safe here. No matter what, no matter who you are, what you look like, what you do, you are safe here.
And to help you survive. And honestly, that can save someone's life.
And you know what? I just want to mention this because I think when queer people talk about family and things like that, then fathers are usually missing. Or the word father is missing.
Yeah. And I actually don't want that to be part of my story, you know?
Tell me about your dad.
My dad was always present. Yeah, sure, he maybe missed speech or whatever that I did here and there, but I mean, I suppose there were moments when my mother also wasn't there, you know? But my dad was very present in my life.
That matters.
A lot. And I don't think a lot of people understand how important that presence is. I mean, my dad was so supportive. Get it? I played rugby, girl. Well, when I was in primary school, I played rugby. And my dad was one of the coaches. Like, he was that supportive father who was like, I want to be at the front line where my child is, you know? And I appreciate that. The fact that he was willing to be that dad, you know? That saw that, you know, this child needs him. And he was there. I mean, my dad doesn't understand my entire world completely. But he tries, he listens, you know, he still loves me at the end of the day. And I think that means the most, is a parent who tries, no matter if they get it or not, you know? And honestly, that means everything.
He sounds like a very good dad. What did he teach you about masculinity?
Like, don't get me wrong, my dad is a very loud character. He walks into a room and everybody knows he's there. Sorry, Dad. Love you. But he also taught me that masculinity does not need to be loud for you to be strong.
I love that.
And I think some of the strongest men I know have been not loud, you know? Like, they're reliable, they're quiet, they're calm, they're protective, they're not loud. And I want to add that they're protective without needing control, you know?
You know, my dad was a cross-dresser. Let me just tell you that. Like, I remember, like, he would wear heels and stockings, and those were really just for, like, the crisscross days. But I honestly always just thought to myself, I also want to do that, you know? I'm not saying me seeing my dad in heels make me a drag queen, but I'm just saying I love the fact that he was open to playing with gender. Do you think society confuses masculinity with dominance?
Constantly.
And then boys grow up believing that softness is weakness.
Exactly. And you know what? I think that damages everybody.
No, because it's important to tap into that softness. Why do you think people are so uncomfortable with femininity in men specifically?
Ugh. Because society rewards distance in men. Not softness, not emotional openness, just distance.
I mean, we got the power. Femininity literally raises the world.
Exactly. our mothers raise us. Like, women hold communities together emotionally. And softness keeps people alive. Like, my mother is maybe not the softest lady out there, no offense, mom, but she is very gentle, very nurturing. I mean, there's a reason kids go to their mothers when they are in need of something, you know? It's because they know that there is that emotional nurturing security that they get from a mother. And I think it's really just because fathers are not allowed to be emotional. Even though I think we see their suppressed emotions when they lash out at you. You know, the moment your father screams, and I'm not just talking about dads, I'm talking about world leaders, but that's political from the other day. But the moment, but like, what I'm saying is, men are not allowed to show their emotional, vulnerable, soft sides, and that is problematic. That is why kids are not in touch with approaching men like that, but they're more approached to like women, because women have that emotional thing where they're allowed as young girls also to show their emotions. And I think boys should be allowed to show their emotions too, so they can become better men, better fathers. So a boy should cry, just like a girl can cry.
And yet, people still mock it.
Exactly, because softness threatens systems that were built on power and fear.
Was there ever a moment where you realized that your dad really loves you, even if he doesn't necessarily understand you?
You know what? Yeah. But let me just say that there was one moment, and this, my mother and my father were both guilty of this. They both know about this. I bring it up in conversation still, but I've already forgiven them. But there was one day that I had a award ceremony situation happening, because I was elected as a prefect at my primary school, and I was the first in the family to get that, you know. Well, of my parents' kids in any case, or my cousins too. But I was the first now to become a prefect, so it's like this big deal for me, you know. And my dad was busy working on the taxis, like he was playing mechanic in the garage, and working on that. And my mother was trying to get ready, trying to rush him as well, but they were both late for that ceremony. And for me, that was like disheartening. After that day, they never missed anything again in my life. They've been supportive, they've been like, you know, they, whether they both could be present or not, at least one or the other parent was there. But they had their system set up, because that day I showed how upset I was. And I just want to say, Mom and Dad, you know I have forgiven you for that. I do love you. But it's still a conversation that comes up, because my emotions was vivid that day, because both my parents couldn't be there for like this big ceremony. But I also blame the teachers for that, hey, because they could have like seen that, you know what, this kid's parents are not here yet, even though they live across from the school, right across, my house was right across from the school. It's not like my parents had to drive far, mind you. They could just walk over. But nonetheless, they have been forgiven. But to answer your question, yes. And I think that's also why I sometimes talk about fathers like very carefully, because I have one who stayed and who remained supportive, even when he didn't always understand, or even if he doesn't always understand what I'm doing, what I'm busy with, or why am I wearing what I'm wearing, you know? But I know that he's there, like, supporting and maybe questioning.
We definitely need more dads like your dad.
No, we really do. We need more dads like my dad.
So I've been thinking a lot about the title that we gave the series. A lot.
It's dangerous when you start thinking, but I can understand that the people watching these videos have been wondering what this title means.
No, but seriously, concrete and glitter feels like a relationship to me, you know? Like the yin-yang, the balance.
Okay, explain.
Some people become foundations, concrete. They hold structures, stability, safety.
And some people are glitter.
Exactly.
Beautiful, temporary, transformative.
Sometimes they stay forever, and sometimes they disappear slowly over time.
Oh, but they still leave traces behind. Listen, whether it's normal glitter or actual people, like, they leave something behind that is so crucial to your character development as well. And it's nice to know that not everything lasts, and that's okay. But it's great when you had that little sparkle in your life, you know? Um, and it's important to identify that everybody has that sparkle, no matter how temporary it may be.
I mean, do you think every single relationship was meant to last?
No, not at all. And when it ends, it doesn't mean that they failed. Some things are just temporary.
That's important.
Some people exist to teach you something new about yourself. And once the lesson is over, the relationship changes. And that's okay. I mean, at least say goodbye first, you know? But it's okay if the relationship ends, because we're all living different lives. We're all trying to get to new places, and it's not good to also force a relationship, because you're gonna end up with, you know?
Have you ever outgrown people without hating them?
Uh, I want to say yes, like absolutely. But I think it's mostly because whenever relationships ended with me, I want to say that I was never the problem, but that's probably showing a red flag there. No, and I'm just saying this because I'm thinking of, like, most of the relationships that failed with friends, you know? Especially with my girlfriends, it was usually because of their partners, you know, that came into the question. Of like, okay, but why are you guys friends? Why are you guys so close? Because straight men don't understand how the gays and the girls get along. I mean, hello, we're both attracted to you. That's how we get along. But most of my relationships failed because they decided to end it. I mean, yes, I did have to make a decision here and there on like a relationship that didn't work out, where I was like, actually, you are not the right person for me, like friendship wise or romantically wise, whatever. And I just had to move on, you know? Like, it was nice for that moment, for that week, for that month, or whatever it may be. But you can identify where you guys don't align, and then you can end it. And that is okay. We're not all the same, you know?
I guess also that growing up, learning that love and permanence is not always the same thing.
Yes, and I think queer people especially understand reconstruction, because we rebuild ourselves constantly.
Maybe identity is layering.
Oh, definitely.
Some layers come from our mothers, our parents. Some layers come from heartbreak, some from drag, and some from just surviving.
Some from people who stayed for 5 years, and some from people who stayed for 5 minutes.
No, but listen, every layer changes how the light hits you.
That's beautiful.
Glowing. Okay, final rapid fire. Are you ready?
Ooh, I'm scared.
You should be. Okay, so name a woman who changed your life.
Oh, my mother.
A song that feels like home.
Honestly, that depends on the day, because sometimes it is Rupert by Teens Jordan, Rupert van my hart, or even Soos Bloed by Teens Jordan actually. Other times it is Trustful by Pink, and on occasion Gone 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 by Phillips. I know, so wide of me, but you know.
What softness are you grateful for?
I think the ability to love people honestly and always give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if that is softness or just naivety, but yeah. I'm grateful that I can always see the good in people, you know? Like, I trust so easily, too easily, but yeah.
And what glitter are you still trying to wash off?
I want to say there's some versions of myself that I'm still washing off, but also the memory of some people that I want to get rid of, you know? But often, a lot of those people, I have to remember also that they also offered good memories, and it's okay if you don't wash them out completely, you know? Glitter is honestly permanent. There was this one girl in my hometown who poured glitter over my hair, and let me tell you, it took me 3 days to get most of it out. It was still stuck there, I think, for another month. And that's literally, yeah, that's people who come to your lives, and they're there with a purpose, they stick on you, and it takes a while for them to wash out, but sometimes the glitter allows you to shine, you know? So don't let your concrete be fully clean.
And since we're on concrete, what foundations will always remain?
Oh, love. Definitely love.
You know, I think the world would look so different if we didn't treat softness like weakness.
And I think that's why femininity survives everything.
Because despite how often people try to suppress it,
Like, it keeps raising the world anyway.
exactly. Now that's all for us on episode 4. On episode 5, we will be discussing pride, darling. Catch us then on Concrete and Glitter. Ta-ta.
Tsamaya hantle or sala hantle wherever you are.